7, the vitalize. Inner circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come one, come all, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. Inner Circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. Inner Circle podcast where love is well known.
Welcome to the Inner Circle podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, and today is our normal business segment. So tonight's topic is immigrants in tech, and we have a very powerful guest, a young immigrant who's doing his thing here in the state of Minnesota. And here at Inner Circle, we amplify voices and stories of innovation, resilience, and entrepreneurship. So tonight, yeah, dive into the world of technology with a very special guest. He will introduce himself here in a minute. He's a seasoned cloud and DevOps engineer. He has his own small business here in Minnesota. So we'll explore his journey as an immigrant and how he got into tech, and how he came about establishing his business. So again, it is the Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Abe Kamara. It is our normal business segment. As it says, Wednesday, April 23rd. This is where we'll come to you with stories of business, finance, feature entrepreneurs. So thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Um, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. So with that, I will introduce my man, our panelists here, and then from there we'll get to the guests. So Titus.
Good evening, Abe, and thanks for having me. It looks like we have two Abraham on here tonight. This should be very powerful. Abraham, how you been, man? Long time, bro. Nice to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
And welcome. Please feel free to come here anytime. And to our audience out there, please tune in tonight. Let's have a discussion here. Abraham Bartuah Sr. has a rich background in the technology field. So this guy is someone to really learn a lot from. That's why I'm here too. I want to learn. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, I mean, the men have already put in some gems, some plug for you. The men already building your, as you say in the common Liberian colloquial, right? Your morale already, So, but anyways, Abraham, man, welcome to the Inner Circle podcast. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into the world of tech.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity given me, and I'm happy to be here today. I am Abraham Bartuah Sr. I hold a master's degree in cybersecurity, and I hold a bachelor degree in information technology and infrastructure management system. And I also hold 10 certifications in the cloud that make me to be a cloud architect, both multi-cloud, AWS, GCP, and Azure. I currently work as a cloud and infrastructure engineer. And I got into tech a very interesting journey, but I'm going to make it a very, short.
Yeah.
I got into tech. It all started me traveling to Ghana at the age of 9. So I traveled to Ghana at the age of 9. my older brother, and my whole passion for life has been technology. So that way I started exploring opportunities, attending school. And when I got out, my first school that I did was the Central Computer College in Ghana. I attended the Central Computer College, and that's where I did software, and then application software, and then A plus, which is hardware. So transitioning into that field, my big brother, which is now in Massachusetts, always gave me that encouragement. And I transitioned in the workplace in Ghana, me being a refugee at that time, living in Ujibara refugee camp. So I started working to an internet cafe. We used to be a cafe attendant, right? I'd be there helping people out too, to browse those days, Yahoo Messengers and all of those places, Talk. So I help people in that field. Now it became interesting when I started to read more about information technology. And Ghana at that time was considered technically in West Africa as a factory when it comes to information technology. So I started to explore a lot of things. I got into the field of networking, and I expanded, and I went to IPMC, and I went to a couple institutions, like a bootcamp institutions. When I was in the 11th grade, which was like SS2, when I got in the 11th grade and then I completed, I decided to transition to Liberia. So when I went to Liberia to complete my high school career, after my high school career, all of my colleagues in high school thought I was going to be a chemist because I was very good when it comes to chemistry. But then I had my dream. After that, I enrolled in the United Methodist University. I earned a bachelor's degree in information technology. But before that, I used to teach with there was a computer school by EW Junction. They call it a computer school. I used to teach computer science and hardware. So I got into IT at a pretty young age at that time. And with the opportunity from who I taught during that time, those all personalities that I helped, they kind of recommended me to the Ministry of Health. And I started working. My first gig job was an IT specialist on a global firm. So I worked there for years. And then I was opportune to have won the diversity visa, and I came to America. So when I entered America, I was like, I think I'm in the best place to pursue my dream. But it was like that. I had to pass through a lot of things. I came in America, and I found it difficult to transition into the field because a lot of stocks, when it comes to technology, a lot of advancement and other things that I do consider at that time, my level was out of date, right? Not great, but it was out of date. So I had to go to the factory. I became a factory worker. I work as a CNA. I work in a group home. I part to all of the sector. But I knew one thing, that I had my dream, and that dream needed to come to fruition, right? So I started to take some boot camp. That was how I did engineering, some online courses at Harvard. And I transitioned my way, which I do have a mentor today. His name is Serge. He is a Cameroonian. He's my best friend, a mentor of mine. I've brought my entire focus into DevOps and cloud. So when he told me about the opportunities, I took a very good advantage of the opportunity, and I enrolled as a student, mentoring, on his mentorship and other things. And I was given the opportunity to also teach a platform for which he earned over like 400 students in his sessions. So I was one of those people, that started to teach. So after that, he was like, you have to make sure everything that you're doing, you have to impact your Liberian community in Africa at large. Because with the skill and the experience, this is not just about you working to earn a full-time salary, but you have to integrate and innovate into a field that try to bring the fellow Africans into the field. I'm like, okay, this is good. I will think about it. I worked for 5-6 years plus, build a lot of portfolios, experience, and all things. And then there where ABDA came into being. So I looked at the entire cycle, and I established ABDA. ABDA is a boot camp, and it is an IT consultancy as well. So most focus on integrating people from zero to hero into the walls of IT, into the walls of engineering, building that system so that many of our African brothers and sisters who have a doubt that you have to be in that cycle before you can get this job, before you can do this, is just to discourage them that you can be whatever you want to be. You have the responsibility. And that responsibility is to take that challenge and focus in life. So here I am today. I'm happy to be here with you guys. More to
Okay.
laughing, but I'm here to answer any question that you have for me. Thank you.
Man, you just went
Wow.
over that right there, right? So I don't even know, I don't even know where to start. But anyways,
I don't want to start.
I think I'll give it some shot, right? You said you started at a very young age, you know, in IT from Ghana, and then you transitioned back to Liberia. Why is it? I mean, it's curious though, right? Like you're in Ghana already doing well, it seems like, right? You're already in the space. Why did you decide to go back to Liberia?
Okay. At that time, as I mentioned, when I went to Ghana as a refugee, my brother came to the United States, and I was there mostly to school, to go to school.
Okay. Okay.
But then at that time, and if you guys read about some past history, things became complicated between the Liberians, immigrant, and the Ghanaians, right?
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
that was when you found out that most of the Liberians ended up coming to Ghana. Some of them came through deportation.
okay,
But for me, I came because I wanted to come back to my country
okay,
and explore a lot of opportunities to grow.
okay.
Yes.
And then my next question for you before I go to Titus here, quick. Once you won a diversity visa, right? Once you won a diversity visa and came to the United States, you said it was difficult for you first to land a job. I know you said some of the systems or some of the stuff that you knew was kind of out of date. Was outdated. But how did you? What was? What was your response to that? Right? Did it in some way discourage you, or did it motivate you, or can you kind of describe that experience? Where you come here as an immigrant, you felt that you knew your stuff, right? And then you come here now, is a culture shock, right? How will you describe that for our audience?
Yes. So it did not discourage me because
Mm,
when it comes to information technology or technology as a whole, it's continuous learning, right? And
mm-hmm,
continuous innovation. So if you were to do, let's say, system administration or
mm-hmm,
learning Solaris,
mm-hmm,
this version of this system, and then after 5 years later, you find out that what you learn, you
mm-hmm,
have to innovate yourself, you have to expand, but then you
mm-hmm,
keep to one stack, and then you find yourself in a land where everything is upgraded, everything at at a very high stage when it comes to the stacking technology. That was
mm-hmm,
when I felt discouraged that whatever I learned back home, it was good. It gave me the concept, but when it comes to the hands-on at that time, I do remember me going to IPO, in Marlborough, in Massachusetts, and they look at my resume, they were like, no, you got to go back and learn some things here in order for you to be to the standard that we want
okay,
you to be. And that
okay,
was an opportunity because that motivated me, even though it discouraged me, but I did not rely on the discouragement. I focused on the motivation. So that
okay,
was how, when I said I was discouraged, that was the aspect of that.
okay. Titus, question from you.
Yes. Bartuah, for the sake of the show, I'll call you Bartuah tonight. So it seems that you have a really good background there, specific to IT or technology, but also kind of diverse. You seem like you built, a really good foundation back home in Africa. Were you opportune to put those skills to use while in Africa? And when you transition onto into the States, how was it like as far as just building on those skill sets, and moving up the ladder? I know you did mention that you had a mentor who kind of held your hand and guided you through some steps, but you want to at least outline that for us and the audience?
Yeah, thank you for that. So when I was in Liberia, I became a IT officer for Global Fund under the Ministry of Health as a SSR. My focus, I was in that cycle carrying the position as an IT specialist, which I had all of the concept, all of the skills and practical concept. But when it comes to the job, it was not the way in which the position was designed, right?
Mm,
IT those days, health system, coming up with recommendation, building capacity, going out in the various country, training people when it comes to management, IT infrastructure. That's what I did because that was the opportunity that I had because I was in a position that it was challenging, the cycle that I was in. So many of the things that I did for myself and also for my friends, like I mentioned, I graduated from UMU. I used the experience, the skill set that I had to teach people voluntarily, to encourage people to get into IT. And I tell you this, many of my friends today, some of them are in the United States with me, and we work in the same sector right now as I speak. So
okay.
all of those things was to encourage them. And coming to America, to get to that part, when I came, transitioning into a new domain as a DevOps or cloud engineer, which was something that I never did, back home. I did hear about it, but I did not practicalize it. It was a game changer. That was when I said, okay, I'm in the perfect opportunity to deliver and to make sure my fellow Africans, especially Liberians, brothers and sisters, raise that mindset and innovate them to look at technology as something that they can do. It is challenging, but with your ability and with your mind focus on it, you can build a passion. Yes.
Okay. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing immigrants in tech, cloud, core, and entrepreneurship, and we have our own brother, young immigrant, doing his thing, right? Abraham Bartuah. He's passionate about his profession. He's passionate about IT in this world, right? In this world, the world we live in right now, everything is IT, and he's passionate about it. And so tonight we are elevating his business, his voice, amplifying his voice, and elevating him. And so you can be part of the discussion by putting a comment in our chat, and also calling our number 952-594-5154 if you have any question for Abraham. Anything you want to know about IT, anything you want to know about the cloud, anything you want to know about DevOps, anything, man. The man seems to know his stuff. And also, so again, I'm your host, Ed Kamara, and my man Tados, and Miss Jerry just joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, do you have any question for Abraham before I grill him some more? Do you have any question?
No, I just jumped, so I'm just gonna listen to see what you guys are talking about.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Abraham, man, first of all, do you own your own business? Can you clarify that to our audience? And let's say, are you at a point now where you got a side hustle as a business and you're also working? Help us understand that.
Yeah, I have a full-time job that I work, and I own the boot camp, which is AppDA.
Okay.
Yeah, so AppDA, is the boot camp that does everything. Anything you need to know about engineering when it comes to information technology, we are here to give it to you. Yes.
And where do you currently work?
It's classified, and when I say classified, it is
got it.
Yes.
Okay, and then so your bootcamp business, how do you balance that versus your full-time job? Is it a full-time side hustle gig, or help us understand that? How do you balance those two, your full-time job versus your side hustle?
Yeah, it's a full-time, 100% full-time, and so with the boot camp, I have team, right? I have a team that work with me. I have the administrator, I have the infrastructure guy who's responsible for the teaching, who's responsible for everything. I have the coordinator who make sure and build the student capacity when it comes to job coaching, when it comes to mock interview projects. So I have a full team that work with me to do that. So I oversee, but I'm mostly involved into the teaching too as well. So most of the time, for some of my students, you see me there, doing my thing. Yes. So I do have a team that work with me.
Okay.
So what does the makeup of your team look like? Where are you guys from? Are you just working with immigrants, or did you spread your net out there?
They are all immigrants.
Okay.
Most interesting
clients. You care to share about your clients as well?
Yeah. So
what type of clients you're usually getting?
Yeah. So AppDA just came up the picture, a very new startup. We are trying and making sure we can live up that system to be among the best. So right now, our focus, we on the students, we're getting students that are coming in. Right now, we are heading to the close of our first batch. And our client also expand, both national and international. Like I said, we build system, we build automation. If you have a little business, you pay over XYZ amount, which is a very high burden. We can build a system for you, take that business to the cloud and do what we call pay as you go. So we are getting a client both in the local business and internationally, mostly right now. And then locally, we are many people reaching out to our site, getting inquiries and getting them some blueprint about what can best fine tune their business. So we get clients both national and international.
Okay.
Do you have any international students?
Yes, I do have about 6 international students, mostly from Liberia.
Oh, that's good.
So how do these international students enroll? I mean, how do they become? How do they enroll?
I would
How's
say
the process
first,
like?
big kudos to them because our time to wake up at that time that we teach 7 p.m. CST to 10 p.m. CST is they are doing their best, right? So that's a big kudos to them. So the classes from Friday to Saturday now is 100% online, right? 100% online. I encourage all my students to make use of the Starlink internet service in Liberia or have a very good internet system because without internet from Liberia, you cannot fully participate in the program. It is live, it is hands-on, 100% practical. So they do their best. They made that sacrifice to be up at that time. And they are very, very smart when it comes to the thing that they do. But yes, that's how we teach 100% online.
Can you speak to the accreditation of your boot camp and what type of certificates are you offering?
Okay, good. That's a good one. That's what making a boot camp, right? It is a boot camp. I do not offer any educational standard of America approved certification, but this is what I do. I bill you to get a job. You get a job. You start actually say, okay, I have learned cloud, and I think I have reached to the extent that I can challenge the certification. Think about nursing, right? The nurses, they write their license, they go to the state board, right? So in engineering, to become a solution architect, you have to challenge and sit for AWS certification. It is a very good and challenging certification that make you to be certified as a cloud architect or a cloud solution architect. If you want to be like a DevOps, you have to also sit for the AWS DevOps engineer certificate from AWS. That's where you're going to see whoever owns that department in AWS, their signature, their license, your license number. And those are things that when you get and show to your job, the next day you're going to be smiling because the more you get those certifications, the more your stuff will go up, whatever you make, right? So that's the advantage.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry I joined a little late. I'm just trying to follow along. And I know you talk about your boot camp. So from what you just explained, the boot camp is basically just preparing these people for a certification program. And you're also offering the boot camp to people in Liberia as well. So, but I know you mentioned something about business. So how does your business or services benefit business owners? That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
Okay, good. That's a good question. So I'm going to distinguish between the boot camp and the consultant, right? So the boot camp, our major priority is to take people directly in getting a job. It's not more about certifications to help you get a job. Every student in my boot camp is to become a six-figure earner.
Okay.
Yes.
But let me hold you there though, right? Let me just push you a little bit, right? If you don't have a certification, okay, how can you prepare someone for a job, right? Don't need a certification in order to get a job, or explain that, make that make sense.
Exactly. That's a very interesting part. So when it comes to engineering in our sector right now, when you become a solution architect, a certification is something that more people choose and say, okay, I will get a certification before I work, but I will work before I earn my certification. Like mine, common example for me, right? I started working 3 years before I started to get all my certifications. So let's take, for instance, people that come to my school, you must be a high school graduate and in college. You understand? You must be a college graduate. Those are the categories of people that I'm taking because you are already a career person or pursuing your career. Now I'm integrating you into the field to become an engineer. The certification does not hold you back. You can confirm this from anywhere. The certification does not hold you back in any way when it comes to engineering. But the certification gives you an added advantage with a big paycheck.
So are you saying companies can hire you without a certification, but once you are employed, then you can pursue your certification?
Yeah, and guess the interesting thing about it, they pay for the certification for you when you get hired. They pay for the certification for you. It's 100% confirmed, So since you can ask this question, it's a very interesting field. The company look at you and be like, you know what? Go take this certification. Go take this certification. And that's how you build your portfolio.
Okay. And then Well, I mean, let him just answer Jerry's
Well, I think
question
we should
first.
piggyback to Jerry's
Yeah, yeah,
question
yeah, yeah. That's what
on
I was saying. Yeah.
the business
Yeah,
component.
exactly. So the bootcamp focuses on that particular aspect or areas of specialization, and then the consulting, my team, the group of or specialists or experts, what we focus on is to build system, to build local business, which is a licensed LLC, right? It's a licensed LLC operating in Minnesota. That is the aspect of it. We build business, automation, we develop system, we train people into digitalization, we build e-commerce, different stuff we do in technology. So that two aspect of it is distinct. Yes, so the booking aspect and then the business aspect, but we do
You
consultancy
see,
based on
you
our
do
business.
automations for clients. So for
Yes,
example, right, I have like, okay, for example, I'll just use my consultation business for example. And I need automation for when clients come and schedule appointments where the link for the Google link is sent to them directly, and then where a system where I don't have to touch the computer. It's sent to them directly. It sends the reminder. It sends me the reminder. Do you do stuff like that?
yes, stuff like that and more than that. So but what you
Okay.
just talked about,
Do you build
yes,
apps and stuff for businesses? Is that
everything.
part of your
Yes,
strategy or solutions?
we
Okay.
build application for you.
Do
Now,
you do websites?
everything.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
So
have full boutique. So you have full boutique business. Then you provide every IT. Are you saying you provide
I'm
every
full stack.
IT service from end to end?
Yes, E to E, full stack in
Okay.
Is
everything.
graphic design included in your services?
Can you
No.
can
Graphic
you
design or not ready?
no, it's we are hundred
Okay.
percent
How
okay.
about you just outline your services for everyone?
Yeah, both outline your services right from the end to end part, and then also is like help the client understand your consulting business, outline those services that you provide for the consulting business, and then maybe expand on the bootcamp to a little bit.
Okay. Let me focus on the consulting business, right?
Mhm.
So the sister just mentioned, E to E, right? So when it comes to automation based on what does the client need, right? What you want us to do is what we do. We don't tell you what we're going to do. You have to tell us based on your idea. Then we develop that logic and put it into application in real time. So she mentioned you come to us and you be like, I have a business and I want to make sure my business is automated E to E. I don't need to even log in to do anything. Once the client go there, they put in the request, it's sent automatically the reminder to them. Based on that, then I will tell you, or one of my team will tell you, this is the blueprint we can give to you. We can give you this blueprint in a way that we can design a 3-tier application for you, right? That we're going to make use of the 5 resources in AWS. And this is how the automation going to come about. You're going to have your front end, which is your web server. You're going to have your back end. Those things going to have the logic. So any client that log into that site, automatically you're going to have an AI that responding just like you, right? So
Yeah,
any
that's what I'm looking for.
it take
Yeah.
that information automatically and send it. You
Yeah.
don't do any human intervention. That's what we
Yeah.
call E to E. We put it into a 40 CI/CD pipeline, which is continual integration and continual deployment. Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then,
so let's take some audience question here quick. Sumo is saying, how many like of your employees? First of all, how many employees do you have, and how many percent of those employees are Liberians?
okay. Abda is a new startup. Abda is building up a cycle to be there. 100% of my staff, of my team, they are all Liberians.
How many team members do you have?
I have a team of 4.
Four. Okay, okay. So and the 100% all Liberians. Okay. And
Yes.
how long have you been in business, both the consultancy and the boot camp? How long have you been
Yeah.
operating?
The consulting frame just came about August 2024, but Abda been existing from 2023.
Okay.
The boot
Titus,
camp.
question from you.
So very good. At least you got Liberians, all Liberians again. Get more immigrants in there. Hopefully, spread your net, continue to spread your net, brother. But I was going to ask you about some of the challenges that you met when you integrated into the U.S. So a lot of our brothers sisters who are already into this area, they're taking on some Google, certification, Google classes with, the AA network and whatever you. What would you advise to be a better step, a better guidance for folks like yourself who already have some of that foundation from back home, want to come here and build on it? What are some steps that you would advise, even if they're not coming to your boot camp right now?
Yeah, I thank you for that question. I have talked to a lot of youth, adult that above me when it comes to age, or a lot of people in different sector, medical doctors, nurses and other things that say, you know what, my career is killing me. I cannot continue to do doubles all of the time, right? I want to find a field that's flexible for me. And I talk to them, I'm like, look, in no way I will ever discredit nursing. In no way I will ever discourage being a medical doctor, because my sister, she is as well. Now, the failure is that I tell people, don't just go and take certification in the name of you're going to get a job, because you're not going to get it. It doesn't work like that. People talk to me and say, I want to do cybersecurity. They see, cybersecurity. It doesn't work like that. I am a cybersecurity expert, mostly focused on ethical hacking. Professionally, I tell people, when you want to get into a domain, you have to walk the path, right? Especially when you want to get a job, walk the path. Taking the certification is good, but it's only going to give you that theoretical understanding. When it comes to real time, you don't have it. The system in this country, they believe in what you can do, not what you have on paper.
Practical knowledge.
What you can do, your knowledge is not what you have on paper. So you have to learn the practical aspect and mostly focus on the practical. Then everything going to fall in place for you. So I always encourage them, go and practicalize yourself, go in the boot camp, learn things on your own. Like, I have friends that are developers. They don't sit on YouTube. They just sit on YouTube. They learn by themselves. They practicalize these things, and they work as a full-time developer.
Okay. As a since AvDAV, so your business, the boot camp came into being, can you tell us a little bit about your success stories? How many folks have you helped to land jobs? Can you explain a little bit about your success stories?
Okay. Thank you for that. So AvDAV was established in 2023, but became very effective in 2024. But before that, I have helped over 7 persons, that successfully walking the path into the industry, and even advancing, heading for 7 figures.
So before you established the business yourself, you were helping folks.
Oh yes.
And you help up to like 7 folks that today they are folded into IT and and working in that space. Like in the boot camp right now, how many students did you and if you mentioned that, maybe I have missed it, but how many students do you have in your boot camp right now?
Yeah, so currently now heading for this first batch going to April is the deadline. I mean, the next batch is going to be April. The first batch is ending in April, the end of April, but the next batch is going to be in May. Right now, I have like 15 students, right? I have over 5 students from Liberia, and the rest of the students, some of them are in Minnesota. Majority of them are in Minnesota. Some are from Massachusetts. So I have over 15 students right now.
Okay.
And yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah,
How long is the boot camp?
The boot camp is 6 months.
6 months, okay. And how much do you charge?
Should I call the figure on the media? But I can do that.
People might be interested in joining your boot camp.
Exactly. Right. Let me just hold it, man, that you came here to promote yourself and to promote your business. And what we are Inner Circle Podcast, we elevate folks like you, the great job you are doing. So do not be afraid to, it's like you are a skilled person, you are charging for a service. If it is 1 million, right? You are providing value. So don't be afraid to market yourself. If it's expensive, those that value you will come for it.
Thank you. No, it's not expensive. Trust me, it's a package change. It's not expensive. Okay. I'm just trying to, put some spice it up so we can all laugh, right?
Exactly.
So it's just 3,500. The reason I said just 3,500 because if you went on my website, and if you scroll through the website, you will see the entire package for which I offer the course, like based on cloud engineering. Becoming a cloud engineer, you're going to learn Linux system administration. That's your first step. And just by learning Linux system administration, you can be the Linux system engineer making 6 figures. You understand? And then you're going to learn what we call Terraform, the automation. Just learning Terraform, you can also get yourself a job. Then you're going to be learning what we call DevOps. As a DevOps engineer, you can get yourself a job. Then you're going to be getting into the learning zone, which is what the actual cloud courses, that is AWS, Amazon Web Services, right? So all of those courses are offered as a package. You understand? So with that, I scaled it down, make sure that I'm not overcharging, I'm making things flexible for people, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. It's about how many people I'm taking out there. It's about my name. I have that to make sure that people are coming into the system. So is that 3,500? Very, very flexible payment plan. You can, monthly payment plan. If you have enough money, you say, no, I can just pay it off. You can pay it. And I do have an open house right now coming up May 21st, 30% off. Anybody who attend my webinar session and register, I'm blowing your mind like 30% off. So those are all exciting news and opportunities that we give to our students.
Okay.
So are the folks in Liberia paying the 3,500? Or do you give them like a special discount?
I give them a very huge discount because, for one, the sacrifice that they are making together by that time, and I'm very flexible with them when it comes to payment. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got payment arrangement there for them.
Yes, a very good payment arrangement. Very, very good payment arrangement.
Okay.
Okay. Well, folks,
what is the website so I can put it in the feed?
Yes, I think if you let me send the website in here right now. It might be. Give me a second.
Okay, while we do that, let me go to some commercial, right, folks. So now we are discussing immigrants in tech, cloud, code, and entrepreneurship. We have a very smart immigrant who seems to know his stuff. He's an entrepreneur. He's passionate about IT. So, man, you can contribute to this conversation by putting a comment in the chat. Or if you have a question for Abraham, man, our number is 952-594-5154. The man is saying if you are working 2 jobs and you're sick of those jobs and you want a flexible career path, IT is the way, right? He can teach you how to get into cloud. He can teach you. He has a boot camp, 6 months, $3,500. That's very cheap, right? It's like, that's very cheap, man. So 6 months, $3,500. Wherever you are in the world, wherever you are, right? We know Inner Circle Podcast, folks from all over the world watch us, right? We immigrants who come here to better our lives. And the man is saying IT is the path. So, hey, if you have a question tonight, 952-594-5154, or you can put a comment in the chat. For our man, he's here to help you, especially you young folks out there, right? It's about the big graduation season. While you're taking your college courses, you could also be in a boot camp, right? You could put yourself ahead of the game. Like yesterday, we discussed student loan. I mean, I'd rather pay $3,500 instead of me, going rack up those student loans and then I have to pay back. For me already, I told Miss Jerry yesterday, I don't know, it was never my intention to try to pay that thing back, but now my man's coming with a whole new technique for us to pay that thing back. But anyways, so you can continue the conversation, man. So it's a great topic tonight. I mean, Abraham seems to be very, very passionate about his stuff, and that's what I would like to see young immigrants, or immigrants as a whole, whether you're young or old, right, doing your thing, making a difference, So we are very, very excited here at Inner Circle Podcast tonight to be highlighting him, to be elevating him, and to be amplifying what he's doing for our community. So hey, and then he has a open house coming May 21st, and then you said 30% off.
Yes, 30% off.
30% off.
You can beat that, 30% off. Is there a link? Is there a chart that I can send the website?
Did you put his link in the chart?
Yeah, I'll just send it to Tyler. If you know Tyler's number, or maybe if you're not following us, you'll not see the link, but you can start it. I think we have a caller that is calling here, so maybe he has a question, and I will give him. So I will answer, and I will let him ask his question. Hello. Okay.
Can you hear him? Can anybody hear it?
No.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, sorry about that. I put your phone on mute. Your name again and where you calling from?
Williams calling from Minnesota.
Okay. What's your question?
So So, like I said, I was going to make a comment before a question, and that comment is to commend the brother in studio as an immigrant with such a great initiative. I mean, I like the fact that he's confidential about his employment, and but he's open to talking more about what I found to be more beneficial to immigrants all around. And even the stretch, I'm very much thrilled. The stretch to go to Liberia to empower people to that extent in Liberia. Our people do need those kind of things, and I want to say thank you for doing that. And we look forward to more information. I think these are the businesses and initiatives that we ought to promote as Liberians and as immigrants in general, not just Liberians, and make sure that you're succeeding. Who knows? One day you could forget about your classified job and just give this, full-time effort. You never know. So thank you very much again, and thanks to Inasago for bringing, such a brain to the platform to share such great information. I wish more people are following this. I'd like to ask a question around the issue of policy equity in the future. You spoke about a lot of things. Two questions actually. What changes in immigration or entrepreneurship policy would better support immigrants? I can repeat that question. What changes in immigration or entrepreneurship policy would better support in tech or in tech business?
Okay.
My second question is, where do you see the future of immigrant leadership in tech in the next 5 to 10 years? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it. So, man, you first of all, the men want to commend you. Abraham, the men want to commend you, right, for everything you're doing. I'll let you respond to that, and then I will repeat his question, right? As I said, you're doing his thing. The men want to commend you, give you your flowers. So go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Can you repeat the first question?
So I was saying the men want to commend you, right? First of all, and then the first question you asked, is like, a lot of, you guys are in tech, right? A lot of immigrants in tech, and sometimes there's some immigration issues towards that, right? It's like, for you, obviously, you came here on diversity visa, so I imagine that's not an issue for you. But you guys in tech, sometimes, like, the local labor force, right? It's hard to find, employees, and things like that. So how's the current immigration policy affecting, like, trying to get employees? I know you employ 100% Liberians, but is it a challenge for you?
So my bootcamp is mostly focused on not like 100% full-time, like I mentioned. It's a bootcamp.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to immigrant transitioning into this field, worried about status, there are a lot of companies out there, that offer visa to people. Most of our immigrant brothers and sisters from offshore, they are opportune to be in this country. They are not a citizen, not a green card holder, but they do work, right? Because of the skill set, they are opportune to get that status. So I tell people, this is what you can learn and be in any part of the world, not just in America. Okay. Like Liberians, like Nigerians, like Ghanaians. So the immigration status is, once you can do your best to learn this and be very skillful, a company can hire you and help you to build up and get that status.
Even in this current environment, isn't you guys that are in tech, isn't there like some level of fear, right? In this current environment, it's not sparing anyone, right? It's coming after everyone, especially when it comes, the administration around immigration, I've said this many times, right? And folks in tech seems to be affected by that. Is there any fear in your community, or is, what's going on there?
I work in a sector that I have a lot of people, that you might think, if this person is this status, no, right? And I tell you, it's all about your skill set, right? The fear is there. The fear will never go away in this country, right? The fear will always be there for people. But the best thing you can do, learn it the best way and get the opportunity. And then every other thing shall follow. So that fear, if you based on that fear, there are a lot of opportunity you might be missing. But just get into the field, do your stuff, and you're gonna have that opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. And then his second question is, where do you, as you mentioned earlier, right? Technology is advancing every day. Where do you see tech, right, in the next few years, right, in terms of advancement and things like that, right? And for entrepreneur like you, what are the opportunities as this in tech?
Yeah, so I will just reference from the labor, of statistic, like a little number out there from the Department of Labor. About 20 to 23% of Americans, you know, are in the categories of a high, level, middle class, right? When it comes to higher income, be it what career you're part of. Now, for immigrants, we are about 14 to 15% of immigrants 100% into tech, meaning the entire workforce of technology in America heavily reliant on heavily reliant on immigrants.
Okay.
So it will continue to grow. The growth of this up to 2030, it will just expand. As you can see, artificial intelligence right now, there are a lot of jobs that are going to be scaled down. There are a lot of jobs that are going to go away, all because the thing that humans are supposed to do, artificial intelligence, nobody should even be sitting there as a secretary anymore to be writing on paper, right? You can see that artificial intelligence is taking over everything. AI is being programmed to do what it have to do in any capacity. So the sector going to grow more because the field is getting so robust. So we all got to learn and diversify diversify ourselves into so many different sectors. So technology will always grow, not decline.
Okay. Okay, Titus, question from you.
So let's stay on the future a little bit, Mr. Bartuah. What strategy would you have, or are you contemplating on right now, to not just retain the number of immigrants that you have going through your boot camps or your staff level, but to also expand, right? Expand that number for that future that we're discussing. One thing I want to add while you answer that is while you prepare immigrants to get job in this field, I think it's very important to consider the certification, right? Because the competition in this country, in as much as they believe in the practicality of your skills, they need to see some paper to get you through the door. So,
Okay,
you
Titus,
can
I will
you
just
can
hold
say
you.
it.
Titus, just hold you. And Abraham, before you answer that, we have a caller, right? Let's give our caller the
Sure.
opportunity to ask his question. So, Abraham, I would like the caller ask a question here.
I think I lost him for a moment.
You're muted, Abe. We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you guys
We
hear?
hear you now, yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
caller, can you tell us your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, my name is Franklin Howell, and I'm calling from Brooklyn Park.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to Abraham for, the level of work he's doing. I think to see our young Liberians, navigating through tech is a very, very much important thing for Africans and especially Liberians. I too am into tech, and some of the things that he was saying, he's just right on point.
Okay.
I came to this country 2021,
Okay.
and then I started working in a factory, and I didn't like it because I graduated. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I came to America, and I was discouraged. When I first came, nobody was motivating you to get into tech. Nobody was saying anything positive to make the environment look difficult.
Okay.
Somebody will tell you that if you're from Africa, you're not going to work with the workmen. They're not going to put you in the office. They think that you just belong in a factory.
Okay.
But, having a good conversation, looking around, being with people that are into technology will motivate you. So what I did was, I just want to give, a little bit
Sure. Go ahead.
about my, own testimony.
Okay.
What I did was to ask questions. I started to ask questions, hang around with the senior brothers that have been into this country for a long time to navigate, and I share what I intend to achieve in this country. And some of those big brothers was very honest. They would tell you that, hey, go to school, go to boot camp, learn some things. And again, I came across Abraham. Abraham was one of those who motivated me.
Okay.
And he been in America way longer than I came. So he motivated me and said, "Hey, brother, you don't have to stay in the factory. This is how we can do it, and this is what we can do."
Okay.
And I followed his advice. Having the already skills, I just went and got myself updated with understanding YouTube courses and all of that.
Okay.
And then I was able to get myself going to interview. I would
Okay.
tell you, the interview process might discourage you because you would get somebody would tell you that your English is sucks. Like my first interview, I was broken.
Okay.
You know, somebody told me my English was sucks.
Okay.
But I didn't. I kept going because I felt like the interview process is a learning process, right? Every time you go to the interview, you get denied. You get to understand what questions comes.
Sure.
You know, so it's not going to be 100% an easy thing.
Okay.
It's going to be a very good thing. So to see Abraham out there speaking, you know, about tech and preaching it, I want to encourage everybody that's listening. You know, pay attention to it. You will get into it, and you will do better.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Good testimony there.
I mean, Abraham, man, it's like he seems to be doing a lot of good work in the community. You know, it's like he seems to be paying it forward. And the Cameroonian guy or whoever it is, right, your mentor, you know, who kind of encourage you, right? He seems to be doing that, man, right? It's like the second caller now, kind of giving you your flowers, right? Especially like he said, his testimony is where you kind of motivated him and somehow, you know, encourage him to get into where to get into where he is right now. What's the reaction to that feedback?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you, Frankie Howell, for the recommendation. And I'm here, always available and always open. So, yes, these are things, like I tell people, we have to focus, we have to get into the field, we have to learn. And there are a lot of opportunities out there. Let's take away the fear from in us. The better opportunities there. Let's go and grab it. That's all I can say.
Okay. Okay, now Tyler, you can go ahead with your questions. Sorry for cutting you off, but sometimes we have to give the audience the opportunity.
No, that's fine. So Abe, I was just asking about strategies that you'll put in place since we talked about the leadership in the tech industry for immigrants. So strategies that you're thinking about, to put immigrants in a better position.
Yes, I know when you first asked, you mostly focus on the certification, right? Let me just speak to that. So, when I say ABDA does not offer certification because we are not accredited, we are bootcamp to offer any level of certifications. Now, the level of certification, when I say this, is you going to school and then at the end of the day, they give you a diploma, right? They give you a degree or whatever. We don't do that because we are intensive bootcamp. But then when a student or when a prospective engineer should have completed all of the courses and get to a level that do the mock interview, the resume preparation, we offer all of those resources to that student. The pathway to go and get that certification, to get certified, right? We offer you all of the resources, having learned most of them that he or she needed to get a job. But then the certifications that you're going to get, it does not hold you back from getting the job. But it helps, like you mentioned, to build your portfolio. So we give the students or our prospective engineer all of the resources that they need to become an AWS or certified solution architect, professional, associate DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, and Terraform specialist. So we offer all of those resources to them as part of our package.
Okay. We have another caller. I mean, our lines are hard tonight. I mean, Abraham, man, you join folks today.
Yeah, everyone's doing good.
So it's like you're passionate about your stuff. So can you tell us your name and where you're calling from, please? Hello, caller. Are you there?
David Nyonko, calling from Minnesota.
Okay.
And happens to be the current administrator for ABDA.
Okay.
And just want to motivate those out there, our listeners who tune into this podcast. We want to commend you, first of all, for your time and the sacrifice you made to tune in. This is a cause that worth your time. And no doubt, everything you'll be listening to here, implementing it, will be a whole lot. Over the years, Mr. Bartuah have been very instrumental and have this big mindset about our community, like you said earlier in his introduction, taking our community from one end and transitioning them into the tech environment. which is something he's been very passionate about.
Okay.
Our team in America for background in accounting, and he has been motivating me to, hey, pursue technology, currently working on my bachelor's in cybersecurity. And yeah, just working alongside him. He's very innovative. And those who he helped, just practically, about 6 or 7, as he said, we are all learning 6-figure job. And maybe he forget to tell you guys this little secret. Well, I don't know, he might disappoint me for that. But yes, one that made me very inspired about Mr. Bartuah was one day when he was off from work, and then he got a phone call, about 27 minutes call just on his phone. When you look at it, it happened to be his boss. They call you and say, Abraham, I know you're off. I'm sorry, come online. We need you right now. And this young man, fellas out there, when he tuned into the live conference call, about 400 persons plus from all over the globe waiting for this young man for one problem that was causing his employer to lose millions of dollars in seconds.
Okay. Okay.
That's how instrumental he is.
Okay.
And
Impressive.
That issue. And yeah, I always like to use this as a testimony for the work he does and how much passion and gift he has in this field of technology. So for those of you listening, feel free to reach out, ask every question you can think about.
Okay.
Mr. Bartuah is passionate about this, and we can teach our community within the next couple of months. We want to see librarians into cloud and into technology. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, caller, for what you're doing. I mean, Abraham, one of your employee, one of your mentee, again, has called, right, to give you your flowers. Again, we'll just give you the opportunity, right? I mean, your reaction.
Yeah, that's David Yonker. I call him David New Yorker because that's how Siri call his name. So David, is a very good person. He's my colleague. Like I said, I don't call people that work with me as my employee because I cannot pay them for their time, right? I call them a team. We are team because I don't believe in paying people their time because it's worth more than $1 million. But he's good. He's a very good guy. And I just want to commend him. There are a lot of things I might not sit here to say, to you about me practically. I keep it as a secret so that the student that will come in, they can see it in real time, right? So again, I'm very, very happy, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that thing.
Okay.
Are they spinning around like a cycle? Let us get
into
it. Put it in different sectors that we
Well, folks, tonight, man, the program is hot. It's like if you are into IT, if you're into IT, if you're into tech, if you any kind, what I mean, like tonight's topic is really, really hot. I mean, my man Abraham know his stuff, right? And he's passionate about it. And he's having live testimony coming in, right? Folks are providing testimony. It's hard to see that in our immigrant community. Sometimes you might have folks come here. That man you're talking all kind of BS, so that we put in a little like that man talking all kind of BS. So that too, but folks are actually calling, right? Giving live testimony. The man know his stuff, right? It's like the man really, really know his stuff. So tonight, folks, we are discussing immigrants in tech, cloud, core, and entrepreneurship. And we have our very own Abraham Bartuah, local to the state of Minnesota. But the man has a boot camp everywhere you are in the world. He can help you, get into the world of tech. So contribute to the conversation tonight by putting a comment in the chat or call them with number 952-594-5154. If you call, we didn't answer, you can try again because the line has been very, very hot. So Abraham, man, I mean, hearing the live testimony coming in about you, you as an entrepreneur, how does that make you feel, right? It's like, what vision do you have for the immigrant community? Because we here in Inner Circle Podcast, right, we really, really want to elevate, we want to, because I always say, you have the silent minority just be causing noise, and some of you guys who are so smart, who know your stuff, you're just sitting in the background, right? It's like my regular business, member here, right, Miss Jerry. Those you guys are the smart folks. Y'all got all the money. You're just sitting in the background. The noise maker then just be all on Facebook causing noise here, man. But what's your reaction, right? As folks giving your flower tonight, and what will you say to young immigrants out there who want to aspire to be like you?
Yeah, that motivates me more, to do more. So my path that I'm on, I'm going to continue to be on that path to help, decentralized technology, right, to reach millions of Liberians, African at large. So technology is my passion. Education is my life. Technology is my passion. Education is my life. Now, when I look at technology, from different dimensions. When I run a test on myself and see where I came from, as Liberian to where I am today, God is the first, but the second is technology. Technology. But it's challenging, guys. I'm not going to sit here to tell anybody that this is an easy game. No, nothing good comes easy. Every best thing that you need, that you want to grab, it comes with a challenge. But then you have to sacrifice the time. Time is very, very important. I tell many of my students or prospective engineers, if you don't have the time, don't register in ABDA. ABDA is not for you. I won't like student come, you're not coming to class, right? And then you register because you have the money. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you to go out there and say, oh, yeah, I did that thing, man, but I didn't. No. I want you to have the time. So I tell anybody listening to me here tonight, to every one of you around the world, Minnesota, in any state, to enroll into ABDA, we love you. We need the money to grow. We need to expand in the community. We have the infrastructure to develop you, but you need to discipline yourself. You need to have that environment. You need to put yourself in that environment. The time needs to be there for you to enter into this program. Because when you have the time, you will help in the very best positive path that we want you to go in. But without the time, it's going to be very challenging. Again, I'm very happy hearing all of these testimonies. I'm very, very excited.
Okay. Well, folks, so now we are discussing immigrants in tech, right? It's a 1 hour show. We've been having our man Abraham Bartuah here for the last 1 hour. And we don't want to keep it all night. So we'll drag it for a few more minutes and then we'll try to wrap it up here. But just a couple of, the comment are coming in here, right? Is like, obviously you have answered some of these things. We'll post the information in all our platforms and we'll share with our audience and things like that. So after the show, we'll take you to the back room, right, to the studio and try to get all of your information, the bootcamp information, everything else. And then we'll share with our audience, But as I said, right, I will post some of these comments there, but you have already addressed some of them. Maybe folks tuning in late want to know and things like that. But again, as I said, we share these with our audience. It's like, other folks from other states want to get involved, right? They want to be part of what you're doing, right? Like, the kind of innovation, the kind of things you are doing. But a quick question for you, quick, right? As an IT expert, passionate about what you do, how does it feel also, right, operating like an IT business? How do you balance your expertise versus operations?
So mostly for the bootcamp, right? The bootcamp is what I learned and it's what I give to the students, right? So it's very easy for me. Like I produce my own course material. I don't hire anybody from outside to produce anything for me. I build my own infrastructure. ABDA is the only bootcamp. I stand to be corrected, but it's the only bootcamp that have a real-time infrastructure. We have our infrastructure, we have our dev, we have our test, we have our production environment in AWS where the student do a live deployment in real time. We don't architect things on the board and just tell students, at the end of the day, we get them plenty of project to go and go figure it out. We walk our students through the real time. So that balancing equation is in line with what I do in real time at my job. Everything that I do is what I give to my students. I don't keep secret from them. I give them everything that they need to know to go out there and grab that opportunity.
Okay. Yes. With the consultancy business, right? How many clients do you currently have sign up? Right? How many business clients do you have sign up? And they make up the demographics of those businesses. Are those mostly immigrant businesses? Or?
So right now, Being is a very new startup. I'm putting more time into promotions, right? More time into promotion. I'm getting a lot of inquiries, my administrator there, then getting a lot of inquiries from, but everything is automated. We are doing follow-up, but then we're doing a lot of promotion. We're selling ourselves at this time. So people can get to know us, to know who we stand, because if you don't know ABDA, and then you just go, you cannot just say, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this. You might say, okay, do I really trust them? Are they going to deliver? So we want to sell, we want to market ourselves. And part of it is what I'm sitting here doing today, right? So we are in that foundational stage, selling ourselves and hope to get there. And very soon we're going to be there. So we are not actively into implementation from from the consulting side, but we are building our portfolio. We are just going out and making promotions and other stuff.
I know you say you're doing promotion, but do you currently have clients that you are working with while you're doing
Yes.
your promotion? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I do have clients. I do have
Okay.
clients from Liberia. I have clients from Massachusetts. I have clients from Minnesota that I'm currently working with, getting a lot of information from them based on the kind of platform they want to build, and I'm working along with them to be able to deliver that. Yes,
Okay.
I
I think after the show to them, Miss Jerry will be one of your potential client. Who
Yeah,
knows?
it
You know,
sounds like
she
it.
seems to be interested. So it's like, so she might be one of your potential client. So make sure you take advantage of that. But while we have, I'll ask one more question, and I'll go over to Titus here and then Miss Jerry. The other thing though, right? I know you say you have 4 employees, currently, and they are mostly Liberians.
Yeah.
Do you plan? Yeah. Do you plan to bring on more employees, and and how's the recruitment going to be like?
Yes. As ABDA expand, I know I want to get over, thousands of students, right? I want to get more. I want to build an industry. I want librarians to get involved into this. You come as a student, I train you, I build your capacity. Whether you get a full-time job, you can also choose to, to deliver your service, right? Everything that you're being taught, you can choose to be there and help other students. So automatically you become what? One of the teams of ABDA, one of the members of ABDA into that. That's how we quickly get people in. That's one of my strategies to kind of get more people into the camp. So yes, I want to expand this, but I want to build it very slowly, but in the very best way.
Okay. Titus, any question from you?
I mean, it seems like more people are asking about the courses you offer, but we'll post these information after the live so that the community can have.
Definitely. We'll share the
Yeah.
information. We'll make sure, right? We promise you here at Cycle Podcast. We'll make sure that the fact that you are doing this, right? The courage that you are doing this, right? We'll make sure that we play our part, right, for you to be out there. And that's what we do here. We amplify, we elevate,
Thank you so much.
and we do folks for folks like you to kind of, as I said, right, get out there. Technology can be very intimidating. It's like how you navigating that, and what advice will you have for young folks, right, or folks maybe, as I said, who are doing 2-3 jobs but want to get into tech?
Okay, I would give you a joke of myself, right? Let me make people laugh a little bit. I'm a very real person. So when I got into technology, my very first gig in technology, my first time to sit on a stand-up call. After that stand-up call, I turned around and I was like, am I going to make it? I asked myself, am I going to make it? I'm sitting with people that have 25 years of experience, people that have 15 years, like expert, building infrastructure, actually inventing their own things. And I'm sitting there as a senior infrastructure engineer. I'm like, what am I going to do? When the people were speaking, like what they were speaking was like Chinese, because I couldn't understand them, So I kind of say, you know what? I'm going to make it. If I can make it to this stage, I'm going to make it. So that was to motivate me to learn more, to get into it, to explore a lot of opportunities. I struggled. That was my first gig. But the good thing is, many company people have the fear that when I start the job, I'm just going to start working right away. No. If a company hire you, they shadow you. You got to go orientation, at least for 3 to 6 months before you can even get your hands on. Because if any mistake does happen, they're going to be in trouble, not really you. I mean, they're going to work you out. By the end of the day, they're going to be in trouble. So they got to educate you about their environment. They got to tell you, this is what we do. This is what we do. When you know those things, the rest of them, you can figure it out. There are documentations that you have to follow. You don't just take things off your head and be like, no. At the end of the day, you're going to be an expert when it comes to this, a subject matter expert, full stack backend that contribute to things. But from the start, you have to walk through it step by step with them. You need to have a mentor to take you through the environment. So that's how it works.
Okay, Miss Jerry, do you have any question? I have 1 or 2 more questions for Abe here, and then we'll try to wrap it up. Any question from you?
Yeah, it seemed like you have something good going on. Do you have any plans to get accredited to turn this into something like a full school where students can come and get accreditation, like certificates from you with your accreditation?
Yes, that's our future journey. We hope for that, but it's a multi-year, right? It's a multi-year journey that I'm hoping to get into that some days. But right now, I'm seriously taking into that sector. But at this time, I cannot commit to that. Yes,
But
Okay.
it's something that you plan to do sometime in the future.
yes, it is hundred
That'd be
percent in the
great.
future. Yes.
Okay.
So let
I
me let
know.
me throw
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
in real quick, Ed, before you go in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
from one of the colors, it sounded like some of the barriers that they're having is actually interviewing, right? Where he talked about someone telling him about his English being sucked and stuff like that. Are
Mhm.
you addressing that? Also, um, what are other things that I mean you're hearing after they've obtained the job and they're working in the field? What are other challenges that maybe they providing any feedback to you? And if so, how are you addressing those as well?
Yeah. So, before after you came into being, as I mentioned earlier, that I did help people. And usually people 2, 3 months on the job, they say, "Oh, I don't really understand what's going on." I said, "Take your time. You can read, go through the conference page. Go through their conference, read what they do. Go to the Vera repository and get to know about the company, learn about the company. In your one-to-one with your manager, ask question about what the expectation from him, what he wants you to do. You understand? Ask those
Mhm.
questions. Do not just keep silent. Be a silent listener. Listen more and talk less, right?
Mhm.
But mostly to ask questions that are very meaningful. Now, let's come to the interview process. That was one of the things that I have kind of integrated at that when the student or our prospective engineer completes, they have to do a mock interview where we're going to be interviewing them in real time,
Mm.
right? Every interview that goes on out there, we're going to break it down to you. Not just you coming like you quizzing what somebody say, what is this? You say you just called it right away. No, it's not what they need from you. When a person asks you, tell me about this, they know it already. Just bear in mind that they already know what they want to hear. But they want you to respond to the question like you already in the field, you already working. This is the main reason why many people go and do certification in Google Cloud and then they go apply for a job and they find it difficult to get a job because they don't have the skill, they don't know how these things work out there. So that's one of the main things that we're doing. We focus on the interview process and then we make it the best in a way that the student will already know how the process works before they even get out there to look for the job.
Okay. Just real quick in that line though, right? I know it's a boot camp. I know, you are charging fees, but are you working with, or do you have plans to bring on potential employers, right? That where in like when folks go through your boot camp for 6 months, you have potential employers where you can place them. Like if someone go to college, right? There are colleges who say, hey man, when you graduate from here, you can go work for 3M, you can go work for Target. Do you plan on working with potential employers so that when folks graduate, take that 6 month course, right? They can, hey man, that we can place you, we can help place you at this job, we can help place you at Target or Medtronic or wherever.
Yes. So to answer to that question, I will respond to the question in a way like this. Me personally, I have had a lot of experience, with recruiters, right? I
Mm,
know a lot of recruiters that every day they send me job vacancy. We get this job open, we get this job open. So that alone is a plus for my students, right? So this is wherein my student, I will say, okay, I need this person to get into this field, and these are the credentials. So based on that, they're going to quickly get placed on the job market. But then in the future, right, like what you just mentioned, we plan to integrate, with other high tech, selling ourselves out there. And then, okay, we producing students, engineers that can go out there and work in various sectors. We do
okay.
plan to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, I said this is a 1 hour show, and we're going like an hour, 13 minutes, and we got to try to wrap it up here. So I will give my panelists the opportunity to ask one last question. And as I said, we'll post your information. Folks really, really want to know more about you, right? They want to know what you're doing. They want to know the courses you are teaching. Yeah, they want to get to you, right? It seems the community is interested. The community is interested to what you're selling, right? But folks are saying, man, maybe you need to either do a better job marketing yourself. But IT, man, one thing I can tell you, IT people don't know how to market themselves. So here, so don't take any offense to that, right? Is that you know your stuff, you in IT, you know your IT stuff, So, marketing is not your thing, right? Leave that to the marketers. What you're doing, right? You know your stuff and you can prove that you can do your stuff. So, Miss Jerry, I will start with you, right? Last question from you to Abraham as we wrap this up.
Um, I was gonna ask for his info, but I can do that in the back when
Okay.
everything is done.
Okay. Okay. Any other question from you? Anything you want to know from the man, from his boot camp, from his consultancy, anything? Anything?
Um,
Are you
I
good?
think I think he gave a lot of information, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Titus, I'll give you the opportunity to ask one last question.
Miss Jerry is interested in that automated service, bro. So you better
As I said, she's a client. I've already told you,
better
Abraham,
get
she's a
ready.
client, she's a potential client. She got a
You better get
business.
ready.
Don't look at her like that. She's loaded. She has a consultancy.
Yeah.
She has a healthcare business. She's a regular on our business segment.
Yeah,
And she's very
that's
smart
our
too.
go-to consultant.
And she's very smart too. So
That's
go
good.
ahead, Titus. Go ahead.
Yes. So Abraham, it sounds also like you are more into building folks for the workforce, right? Going to the jobs and what have you. Are there any plans to build entrepreneurs? Folks who go through boot camp and kind of get a startup tech business, for the immigrant community. And lastly, if you could say one thing to an immigrant coming to the States with a little bit of the IT background, what would be that one thing?
Yeah, one thing that I would say is based on my experience in the past, it's good. Like as an immigrant, you come to the US, you want to get into school right away, you want to take the student loan, you want to go out there to get a degree. It is good. I'm not discouraging anybody from doing that. But you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful and choose very wisely. Be very prudent about the field that you're going to go in. Am I going to learn psychologist? No disrespect to any, our doctors out there. It's very good field. But you as an immigrant yourself, look at yourself and look at the market. Where is the market trending, right? And based on that, decide where you want to go. But I would tell people that get into certifications. Come in this country, get into certification, become certified, get yourself a good job. At the same time, tomorrow, if you want to get that master, that PhD, you can go and get it. But build your portfolio. Just getting into school, doing that degree, you might enter into a big, huge debt in student loan, and you know exactly how this play. So that's one of my advices, to people out there. Be determined. The fee is yours, explore, see where you want to go.
Okay. And
Now,
to
how
his
do you
last
plan to support
yeah,
entrepreneurs?
Yes,
go ahead.
so
I
this
mean,
is where the
to
passion
build
lies.
build entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the passion lies, right? As I mentioned to you, I do have the passion. That's why I'm here and doing what I'm doing. I could just focus on me just working my gig and getting my stuff ready, and having a very best time of myself, right? But again, I have the passion and I want to build myself. So anyone that I teach, and help to become an engineer, you need to have the passion to spin up your own business. That will also make me very excited, but it all drills down to the passion. You have to have the passion before you can get into something. Yes.
So you're not afraid, or you're not concerned about your students becoming your competitors?
No. My focus
Okay.
here is not money. Let me be
Okay.
honest in this field. My
Okay.
focus is not the money. My focus is to send my name out there
Hmm.
to become the best that I'm striving to be right now. I'm striving to be right now in that field, but not to have a competitor. I can have a competitor. We can brainstorm, we share ideas, right? But it all based on the strategy. I might not be 100% good as a strategist, but I'm 100% good, finding the resources to deploy strategy into various sectors to get what I want to get. Yes.
Okay, I see what legend say. The commenter say you're now a marketing man. So stick to your because you should you're now a marketing man. So you say your goal is number of money. We understand. You understand. You're now a marketing man. So we understand that. But to add you on here quick, right? Obviously, everybody love what you're doing tonight. But his question is your focus only on immigrants and Liberians specifically? Do you serve everyone?
I serve everyone. everybody, I have friends in all races, like, different sectors that I talk to, that I help. But my major focus is on the immigrant community. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, we like to do this thing here, wherein we ask you my last question to you. It's been a great show. Thank you so much for having the courage to do this. As an IT man, it's like having the courage to do this to me is like it means a lot. It says a lot about you. But the last question I have for you, where do you see yourself 5 years writing your story, right? 5 years sitting in that millionaire mansion, 5 million, 10 million mansion in Medina, in Minnetonka, wherever, right? In Wazada. What, write a letter to yourself 5 years from now. What will that letter be? How would it, what would it be? Reading that letter 5 years from now, right? Where will Abdev be? Where will Abraham Bartuah be? What will you be saying to yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I would say you can be whoever you want to be based on your self-discipline. Do not get deterred about what somebody might tell you tomorrow working in a sector. So you cannot be this one. Believe in yourself and go out there and explore the world, because opportunity comes in different ways. Nothing good comes easy. If everything were easy, we'll all be at McDonald's or they're flipping burgers. Yes. But nothing good come easy. You have to discipline yourself and put yourself out there. No matter where you're from, as an immigrant, as a refugee, it does not matter. What matters is what you can do and what you discipline yourself to do. So 5 years from now, when I look in the past, and if I could follow the time, I'll be like, okay, this is where I came from, and this is how far I have come, and this is where I am going. So
okay. Yeah. Where do you plan to see the boot camp? Would a boot camp be a full university, as Jerry said, offering certification, doing so many things? And where do you see the consultancy?
Yeah, I see the boot camp to be in a very best upgradational stage, wherein it's offering full-time certifications, produce a lot of students, engineers take over, students helping, doing a lot of stuff, a lot of programs we're going to be offering. And then I see the boot camp being the second to none, operating that best way we can to deliver the goods and services that we offer.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for that, right? Is that hopefully, we here at Inner Circle Podcast hope all of what you wish for 5 years from now, you can be saying that, sipping your champagne in your millionaire mansion, right? That just saying, hey, man, I've achieved so much and everything is good. So, but thank you so much for having the courage to be here tonight, Abraham. We really appreciate it. And we hope you can, make this your home. Come and, educate folks, right? More about IT. Folks want to know everything you're doing. They are interested in the work you are doing. So thanks so much for, joining us tonight. And folks, it's been a great show. Abraham has really educated us tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow with a very interesting topic. It's like our man is coming here tomorrow. He said he want to unify the entire immigrant community. So we hope you can join us tomorrow. I don't know how he's going to do that. But he said that's what he want to do. Yeah, the message, his vision is to unify the entire immigrant community. So tomorrow is going to be hot. Yeah?
Is he a guest? The guest is going to be talking about unifying the community?
Yeah, and the guest is saying the entire immigrant community. So tomorrow, tune in, man. It's going to be loaded. It's going to be fun. So here, come, let's talk about it. But Abraham, man, it's been wonderful having you here. And folks, this is the Inner Circle Podcast. This is our community show. Be part of this community. It's a growing community. That's what we do, amplifying voices like Abraham. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you all here tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.